Greetings out there. It's Dave Duford from Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com. Today we're going to do a very important video on what I think is often downplayed sales tactic, really because many people don't have the skill level and tenure to really develop it to its highest. So what I'm hoping to do from today's video is give you some actual actionable content that you can do in your own final expense sales calls to really drive point to home of buying life insurance. So here's what it's all about. There is nothing more effective about communicating the urgency and the importance of owning life insurance than just sharing stories of clients who have bought from you and who have passed away since you took the plan out. So here's what I mean. When we get in and we talk about life insurance, we talk about the pros and the cons, and we talk about things from a clinical standpoint. It's effective. There's nothing wrong with it. However, the nature of life insurance is one in which it is a act of love. There's nothing more pure than buying a life insurance plan, because you name someone the beneficiary to relieve them from financial burden of some sort. And you pay for something you will never realize in a tangible form. So the people that buy life insurance are more responsible, they're more loving, they're more thoughtful and caring, and they're more decent people. And so the point I'm trying to make here is that these are all emotional things that I just mentioned, and nothing communicates emotion and connectiveness to somebody than a story. And that's what I want to do today is to bring home the point of sharing stories in your final expense sales calls. Now, if you're a new agent, you may be wondering, well, how do I do that? I don't have any stories because I'm brand new. Well, I want you to go ahead and borrow these 3 stories I'm about to tell you, because they make a point in the importance of not just why you should buy insurance, but also what kind to buy, because that's the main point you try to sell. So let's start with a couple of stories. The first one's about term insurance and the bad idea of buying term insurance. And to keep it real quick, whenever I talk about how term terminates, I always mention a lady in Flintstone, Georgia, a little town in North Georgia. She was 76 years old when I met her, had an AARP 5-year increasing term policy, had it for 15 years, paid it diligently, could afford the price increases, it wasn't too bad, until the last one. Her price went from $50 a month to $140 a month. This little old lady making $700 on a Social Security disability check now had to come up with an extra $90 a month, which represented, easily 13% of her income. She couldn't do it. So she had to let the plan go. And the reason I share that story is the pain of paying so much for nothing, feeling stupid, and then also the reality of not having the plan that's really right for the circumstances. These people are all on a fixed income. They understand how price increases are really bad. And they also understand that why would they want to pay for something when it's not there when you need it? And that story translates that more so than a lot of the ones I've run into. So use that great way to exemplify the importance of what it is we do. The next one I always tell about is my client who is now deceased in North Georgia, another town called Chatsworth. Mr. Rich, at 70, a strapping young man at 70, took out a plan in perfect shape to cover his final expenses and leave additional coverage. A year and a half later, his funeral home called and said he had died through aggressive brain cancer, meaning he had died within the 2-year period of time to have the policy. And when I'm discussing Colonial Penn or MetLife or MassMutual, plans that have some sort of 2-year waiting limitation, I remind them that if they had picked the plan off the television or through the junk mail, they wouldn't have had the coverage that they needed, that the family got. And the plan did pay, whereas those definitely would not have. And that's why it's so important to work with somebody that, again, cares about you and wants you to get the best value for your buck. This makes perfect sense because most people in their 60s and 70s know of people that die suddenly, without reason, without expectation. Their time to go is whenever their time to go is. And it's shocking. We all like to think we're going to die slowly. It's going to be predictable. It's going to be later in life, but many times it's not. And this story reverberates that, because an otherwise healthy person died, and shows the real fragility of human life and the importance of buying from somebody like myself that can get them the best deal. The last story I tell in relation to that is somebody who buys a plan, or who bought a plan. Actually, my first first sale I made, he told me about his dad who bought a Colonial Penn plan, had it for a year, convinced it was full coverage, and died from a stroke. Didn't pay. The kids had to mortgage the home in order to pay for the funeral. A sad story, but one that is useful to explain again why you always deal with somebody who is going to give you and shop for the best deal. Stories communicate things that technical know-how and advanced knowledge don't. Stories communicate emotion, responsibility, urgency, and create tension within you. These are the things which cause people to buy on the spot, because you communicate to them in such a way that they feel confident in what you do and believe in your ability to help them. The more you use your stories, the better you will do at selling. So please use these stories. Of course, you can't say they're your clients, but you can say, hey, my agent buddy told me a story once about a guy in Georgia. Then take the story for itself. That will have the same impact as you going through the personal experience yourself. But I promise you, using these stories will make a dramatic impact and change your sales. You'll make more just by adding them in. My name is Dave Duford from Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com. If you'd like to watch more videos, you can. I'll let you. I've got over 100 of them on all sorts of subject matter related to final expense. And I also have my website, of course, feagentmentor.com. You can check out training material if you are interested in talking to me about joining my agency. Go to the website, click on the contact button, fill out the submission form. And until then, like me, subscribe me, and give me a thumbs up and leave a comment if you like. And I want to thank you so much for listening. Take care.